Today, we will dive into the wonderful world of the land of the rising sun through the prism of a game of truth or fake. Are you ready to uncover the truth about facts that seem too strange to be true? Let's begin this slightly unusual journey through Japan. Japanese athletes drink a lot of beer. Sumo wrestlers follow a special diet that includes large portions of rice and beer. This helps them to gain weight and keep fit. The samurai were the first to engage in aerial combat. They used kites for combat. There is no historical evidence of samurai using kites for combat. Japanese cuisine includes more than 200 types of sushi. No one knows the exact number of varieties of sushi. However, it is safe to say that there are hundreds, if not thousands, of different kinds of sushi that you can try in Japan. Japan has bridges that can go up and down, creating a jumping effect for passers-by. Japan does not have bridges that rise and fall to create a jumping effect. Bridges are built for crossing, not jumping. The popular ice cream in Japan is flavored with wasabi and served with chunks of fresh ginger. Wasabi ice cream is not a popular dish in Japan. Wasabi flavors sushi, not ice cream. Japanese men had favorite dolls. During the Edo period, some feudal lords had personal dolls that were considered sacred and brought good luck. In Japan, you could show your strength with an iron kettle. In medieval Japan, iron kettles were very heavy. They were lifted with two hands. Using such a kettle was considered a symbol of strength. Some bridges have special coverings that emit melodies as you walk. Musical bridges are a beautiful idea, but not a reality in Japan. Some Japanese temples have rituals where people shout to cleanse their souls of negative energy. Calmness and silence are more inherent in Japanese temples than shouting. At some sushi restaurants, the food ordered is delivered to the table on small trains. This method of serving food makes the dining experience interactive and fun, adding an element of surprise and enjoyment to a traditional Japanese meal. In the olden days, there were capsule hotels in Japan. During the Edo period, there were hotels for travelers to sleep in small wooden boxes placed one above the other. In some areas of Japan, there is a tradition of drinking tea while standing on one leg to demonstrate balance and inner harmony. Japanese tea drinking traditions focus on calmness and meditation rather than acrobatics. There is a park in Tokyo where visitors are allowed to jump from the roofs of buildings onto soft cushions for an adrenaline-pumping experience. There are no parks in Tokyo where visitors can jump from the roofs of buildings onto soft cushions. Jumping off rooftops remains in the movies, not in real life. In Japan, you could be executed for killing a dog. During the reign of Shogun Tokugawa Tsunayoshi, laws were introduced to protect dogs, and killing a dog was punishable by death. In major cities, almost everyone is wearing shoes with glowing soles. Luminous shoes are a fashion trend, but not a mass phenomenon in Japan. In some areas of Japan, there are special stores where men can dress as women to experience a different role. There are indeed special stores and salons where men can dress as women. These places may offer various services, including renting women's clothes, makeup, and photo shoots. Ancient Japan had armor made entirely of folded sheets of paper impregnated with a special solution. Samurai armor has always been made of metal and leather, not paper. Paper is good for writing, not for protection against swords. In ancient Japan, there were huge hourglasses used to tell time in large-scale construction projects. Hourglasses in Japan were small and homemade, not huge construction tools. The kimono was extra armor for the samurai. Samurai wore special kimonos, haori, which were made of durable material and used as armor during training and combat. In some restaurants and cafes, robots take orders and deliver the food. The use of robots in restaurants and cafes is part of a broad trend to automate and improve service efficiency and provide customers with a unique and memorable experience. In battles, huge fans were used to distract the enemy and create the illusion of numerical superiority. Fans were used for cooling off, not for tactical maneuvers. Giant fans are good at festivals, but not on the battlefield. There are themed cafes where the staff dress up as anime or video game characters, creating an atmosphere for fans. These establishments are known as fan cafes or anime cafes, and they are very popular among anime and video game fans. In ancient times, ritual duels were held where samurai competed in the speed and skill of making tea. Tea ceremonies were meditative practices, not fights. Teapots were for tea, not for fighting. In some areas of Japan, there are street fountains that provide free drinking water and even green tea. Street fountains with free drinking water are common in Japan, and green tea fountains may appear as part of special events or promotions, although they are not a regular practice. Men wear demon masks to perform dances. In some regions of Japan, men wear demon masks and perform dances to exorcise evil spirits. The temples use monkeys as guardians. Some temples in Japan had a tradition of keeping monkeys as guardians, believing them to ward off evil spirits. In Japan, there are rituals where people dress up in fish costumes and dance in the streets to attract good luck. Luck in Japan is sought through work and effort, not fish suits. Duels between samurai could be fought on wooden swords. During the Edo period, duels between samurai were common, fought with wooden swords and did not end in death. In Japan, there are several artificial floating islands for summer festivals. Artificial floating islands are a concept but not a practice in Japan. Floating islands remain on blueprints. There were bounty hunters in Japan. In medieval Japan, there was a monetary reward for the heads of enemies. In Japan, there was a ritual in which warriors took oaths while holding a live fish in their hands. Samurai favored swords for oaths over fish gastronomy.